Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I've got a new jacket. Actually, I bought it a couple weeks ago for biking, and I got invited by Rebecca and Shelley to be here today. I thought there'd be no better day to wear it. So good morning. Thank you all very much for being here. Again, I'd like to thank Shelley and Rebecca and our partners, Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, for bringing us all together today. This is such an important issue. I'd like to start out with some good news. This past legislative session in the Iowa General Assembly, there was a lot of debate around our gun laws in the state of Iowa, and there were folks that actually approved a bill in the Iowa House of Representatives to eliminate all gun permitting in our state, including allowing youngsters to do target practice with guns with their parents, and a number of other issues. And that bill came over to the Iowa Senate, and we took our time with it and decided that it wasn't a bill that we ought to move forward. And through the course of that, I received a lot of contact from people here in Iowa City, and also worked with some of the national partners who have invested in trying to help state policymakers across the country when these bills pop up, to try and do what we can do to make sure bad policy doesn't go forward. And I'm pleased to announce that we did not move that legislation forward, and it was a victory for safe communities and all the people that are here today. The other day I was out and about doing some errands, and I was somewhere where I saw, I don't remember where it was, but I saw the TV screen, and it was the latest, mass shooting in our country. I looked up and I said, oh, another mass shooting. I was thinking, and then I got home, and it was the San Bernardino tragedy, and it occurred to me, like it's probably occurred to all of you, that we've become numb about these things. We've had 355 mass murders, mass tragedies just this year. It's an extraordinary public health issue. It puts us all in danger, and I think it's time that elected officials across the country from both sides of the aisle come together and say enough is enough. It's time to do something meaningful on this issue to protect our people. And there are some simple things we can do. Clearly, background checks on all gun purchases ought to be the law of the land. We ought to ban assault rifles. Assault rifle, right? I mean, I appreciate people that are concerned about defending themselves and their property, but I don't know where, unless it's a war zone, where people, we could talk about this, but where in this country exactly people need to have in their possession assault rifles, weapons that are so destructive in such a short period of time and cause such great damage to families and people in our country. So it's pretty clear we ought to get that done. The other thing I'd like to say is that it's time for responsible gun owners to speak up. It's time for gun owners who understand and have this desire to own guns and responsibly manage their guns and use their guns to be part of this debate. And they've been absent. The polling on this, gun owners want safe communities too. But they need to get involved in this conversation and help us find some solutions that have not been present at this point. I'll just end by saying I'm optimistic that we have opportunity to make progress on this. This room is standing room only. I know that across our state, across this community, there's people that want action. So I'm invigorated by that. We go back to work in January. I suspect that we're going to see more gun legislation come forward. The other thing I would add, our sheriff was in the news just in the last day, Lonnie Polkravic. A couple of years ago, the state legislature took authority away from our county sheriffs in their oversight over the permitting process. He had a recent circumstance that made him extremely concerned about a permit that he had to issue, and was just in the news about that. We need to give our sheriffs the discretion they used to have to deny permits. Thanks for being here. Let's work together and make some progress on this issue. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And now we have a real gun sense hero here to talk to us. Amy Nielsen, Mayor of North Liberty, which is one of the fastest growing cities in Iowa. Yeah, heck yes. Welcome. We just want to express to Amy our support.
Thank you guys for all the work that you do every day so that we can come out on one day and show you our support. Thank you all for coming today. The fact that the same amount of deaths occur by household guns in the amount of time of just 5 weeks occur that have also occurred by terrorist attacks since 2001 is unacceptable. We cannot continue to allow less than 10% of our population to dominate this conversation.
Yes. And now, Shelley Kerr, our own campaign lead for Iowa City, will get us going on our way.
Okay, so thank you guys for coming. This is awesome. I see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd. It's awesome. So some people believe that nothing has happened in 3 years since those 26 victims were taken at Sandy Hook. And yes, it's true that many members of Congress are listening to the gun lobby and blocking efforts to improve our public safety. It's true that 2 weeks ago, less than 48 hours after the shooting in San Bernardino, 50 senators voted against closing loopholes to keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people, including suspected terrorists. But here's the real story. Across the country, Americans have risen up to demand change, and we are winning. Congress may not be afraid to stand up to the gun lobby, but we are not. In the past 3 years, we have helped close the background check loopholes in 6 states. We have helped pass laws to keep guns out of the hands of domestic abusers in 13 states. We have convinced a dozen American businesses to stand up for safety with gun sense policies. We have blocked gun lobby efforts to pass more than 60 dangerous laws in the states. And we have rejected the gun lobby's vision for our country, which provides easy access to guns to anyone, anywhere, no questions asked, no matter how dangerous they are. We are taking back our country. The fact that we are here today, along with thousands of Americans across the country, shows the strength of our movement, and our momentum is building every day. So before we walk, let's take a moment to declare why we are here. After each statement, please join me in saying, "We walk today." For all the victims of gun violence.
We walk today.
For the survivors of gun violence.
We walk today.
For our children.
We walk today.
For the communities ravaged by gun violence.
We walk today.
In defiance of the gun lobby.
We walk today.
To put our elected officials on notice.
We walk today.
With hope for our country.
We walk today.
To end gun violence.
We walk today.
So as we walk, we want to be seen and heard. So I'm encouraging you guys to tweet tweet. I know some of you may not be on Twitter, but if you could tweet, everyone across the country doing these orange walks are going to be encouraged to tweet at Chuck Grassley and Joni Ernst with the hashtag #EndGunViolence. So together we can show our leaders all across the country that Americans are coming together with the knowledge that we can end gun violence.
So now we'll head out the front entrance of the library. It'll be a short walk, just 2 city blocks. We're going to go west on the Fed Mall to Clinton Street, north on Clinton Street, and we'd like to get a picture of everybody in their orange in front of the old Capitol.
What do we want? Gun sense. When do we want it? Now.
Gun sense! Now! Gun sense!
When do we want it?
Now!
Hey, hey, ho, ho. Gun violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Gun violence has to go. Hey, hey. No more silence and gun violence. No more silence and gun violence. No more silence and gun violence. No more silence and gun violence.
We're not going to get any order.
When do we want it?
Now! Gun sense! Now!
No more silence and gun violence. No more silence and gun violence. No, hey, hey, ho, ho. Gun violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Gun violence has to go. Hey, hey. When do we want it? When do we want gun sense? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Gun sense. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Gun sense. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Gun sense. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Gun sense. When do we want it? Now.
We're not going to get any order.
Gun sense! Now! Gun sense!
Gun sense. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Gun sense. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Gun sense. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Gun sense. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Gun sense. When do we want it?